Hello, welcome to Tip 107. This is on how to create a use case package structure using the executable MBSE profile, which has been developed by MBSE Training Consulting. So this is part of an open source collection of profiles. It's called the SysML helper, which is licensed under GPL for no cost, and it's provided on GitHub. The profile provides automation helpers to quickly and easily build models using method-aware helpers. So one of the things about SysML is it's a very generic language. And what we have here with the profile is a method-aware development of SysML, which takes a Mosaic approach to using different package types to build a model. So the profile is fairly extensive, and it sets up a number of properties which include configuration management properties for use under Rhapsody Model Manager, but also changing the add new menus to restructure them, but add profile specific specialization. So here we have a profile, and you can see now that it's been set up, the right-click menu has these different types of packages. So a use case package is a specialized type of package for use case diagramming. So this Mosaic approach to SysML has the idea that different packages have different purposes, and we can therefore limit the right-click menus in those packages to a more simplified version, but also extended with things which are specific to that package type, such as tables and views. We use a naming convention to make sure that all the packages in the model have unique names which can be seen and understood on the file system for use with Model Manager. And here you can see there's some customization of different diagram types to make sure the diagram tools are appropriate for the method, such as adding the right traceability relationships in the drawing toolbar so that the user doesn't have to choose. So some of these things include naming conventions. For example, we always name diagrams beginning with the SysML abbreviation if there is one. And here we have a simple use case diagram where I'm going to just draw some standard use cases and actors. So a use case diagram is often a good starting point for all of the methods supported by the profile. And there's two principal ones and one secondary one. One of those methods is a function chain method that uses the idea of a block, specializes a function block. And the other is using operations, which is more of a standard or classic Harmony SE approach. But all of these have quite a strong focus on the use of requirements as well, so that we can exchange information with external requirement management sources. So actors in this method are always external to the system. We do have a clear differentiation between the system and components within the system, and the actors are peers to elements called system blocks. At the moment, you can see the actors have been created in a use case package, which is where the diagram is. And with the Mosaic SysML approach, the profile adds the concept of an actor package, which is like a container package for actors. Obviously, it has its own icon in the browser. We make use of naming conventions within the methodology to make sure it has a unique name. And if those actors are shared by multiple use case packages, which might be stacked in the same model, we would put it as a peer to those use case packages. And you can see that the category name at the top of the browser enables us to find it more easily. So we also have the concept of requirement packages. So this triage of, or this trio of use cases, actor, and requirement packages is quite a common need when you are doing high-level stakeholder analysis. So this is a pattern, if you like, for how to build a package structure using this Mosaic SysML approach. So we often, when we are doing this in that pattern, would stereotype requirements because we might have different requirements at different levels, for example, stakeholder requirements, system requirements, component requirements. The approach of the profile is to make these sort of non-new term stereotypes that sit on top of the meta types provided by the profile to make them kind of standard stereotypes that are part of the model and can therefore have their own user-defined formatting. So here I'm creating a user needs stereotype that can be applied to requirements and requirement packages. And what we're going to show is one of the key features of the profile which I found really useful, is the ability to auto move requirements into requirement packages. Because of the Mosaic approach, the requirement packages are known as being requirement packages. So if a package has a dependency to a requirement package, when you create a requirement in that package, it will move it into the requirement package which the dependency ends on. So by establishing the relationship between the packages, I can get the profile to automatically move a requirement and also to stereotype it. And we've got a format on that stereotype. So now we've set up the model manually. Let's add a requirement to the diagram. When we do that, we can see it gets moved into the requirement package and it gets automatically stereotyped. And this is the aspect of the profile which is to add that automation. The steps you would normally do are set up to be done automatically. So you can focus really on, what is the requirement text rather than how do I create a stereotype and format it. So we've got a pattern here which can be applied to different projects to get the same outcome quickly. So for example, we always use refinement between use cases and requirements using these methods. So refinement is in the drawing toolbar for the use case. So it's just about getting the usability happening so that almost by accident, people start to take a consistent approach to how they apply SysML across different projects. And if you have lots of different projects, this kind of automation can mean that those projects all have the same look and feel, and that consistency enables you to move people between projects, but also to almost build into your process all of the sort of best practice and helpers. So often when we create a project, once we have this automation, we can just say, well, the first thing you do is to create the use case package structure. This will automatically set up the project properties and give you a dialog provided by the profile, which not just creates one package, but creates that trio of use case, requirement, and actor packages. It's already knows about the naming conventions, so it helps the user to make sure that the naming conventions are applied. And it implies, well, actually, we're going to create a requirement stereotype. So let's assume it's a stakeholder requirement. So that's established the dependency from the use case package to the requirement package. We can rename that stereotype and change its format if we want to. The actors that are used, so it's auto created a use case diagram. The actors it's picked come from a property in the profile, but we can easily change them, and they're already in the actor package. So I've got essentially the same structure that I built manually. There's some helpers here, so I can create a new requirement from a use case, and that's established the refinement relationship for me. It's done the auto move because that requirement was created in the use case package, and the use case package had a dependency on the requirement package. So we can almost do that initial sort of stakeholder need analysis with use cases, and the model and the requirements will all be moved into the correct place. We do actually have to still move the actors if we create them locally, but you would often have different people working on different features, and each of those features would have a different use case package, and then you bring those actors together into a common package so that there's not duplication across them. So one of the benefits of the Mosaic approach is we can extend the menus. So here we have the right-click menu for requirement packages. So it's got some helpers for doors next. And also we've added some common table views for the requirement package. When you create one of those tables in it, it automatically scopes the table. And here we have a simple requirement table, which just shows you the text of the requirement and its name. Another useful one where we sort of treat use cases as buckets is to see the traceability between use cases and requirements in a relationship table. So this is showing those dependency relationships in a relationship table format. So if we add new requirements, here we've got one for the informed clinical decisions use case. We can refresh those tables views to make sure that the groupings are still sensible. There's other helpers here. So, for example, sort of hidden away is this browse traceability option to create a new browser tree that shows the traceability from requirements to model elements. Well, actually, the relationship is the other way around in the model, but it's presented in a tree view like that. And so that concludes a whistle-stop tour of the initial model creation, creating a use case package structure to begin with. So other modules will come after this, but this is often the starting point for many new projects.